Hi everyone. In this video we are going to have a quick tour of the B School zone. Now the B School zone is a property that IMS has created, and it is something that is available to all the IMS enrolled students and IMS non-enrolled students as well. So it is for the benefit of the entire student community. So on the B School zone you will find a lot of information. I am going to take you through some of the data points that are available at this point of time, and as we progress in the journey you will have more data coming your way. So there will be a lot of updates that will keep happening to the B School zone, but for now I just want to share with you all the features that are available right now. So let's get started. Now the first thing that you need to do to access the B School zone, and it's free to access to everybody, is you have to go to the website. So the website is bschoolzone.imsindia.com. You will also find a link in the description from where you can access it. I suggest that you bookmark this so that you don't have to search it next time. Now once you visit the website, you will see a lot of options on the left hand side. So it is also something that you can access on your mobile phone, by the way. So you just need a browser, mobile browser, and you should be fine, and you will be able to access all the information, though we recommend you to use it on a laptop or a computer for better readability. So on the left hand side, I'll start from here. Now the first thing that you will see is list of programs. Now under list of programs, you will see most of the top tier institutions that are there in India. So all the 2-year programs you will be able to see here. So there are a lot of features. The first feature is the search functionality, through which you can search for a particular B school. The second is you have option to put filters. So for example, here you will see list of all the programs, and I can click on filter, and under filter I have different filters such as IMS classification, program duration, scores accepted, placement range, and so on. So if I want to, let's say, access particular programs and programs that are accepting only the CAT, I can do that. So I can say scores accepted CAT, and I say done. It will show me, or it will rather filter out all the B schools that are going to accept the CAT score. And through this I'll be able to find more information. So let's say I want to know more about FMS, I can click on FMS, and here you will find detailed information starting from what is the placement figure, what is the intake, and so on. So just some of the data points, I'm not going to list all of it, but just the important ones. For example, the test accepted that we already seen. You can see the program duration, location, the intake, wherever possible, and demographic information has been provided by the B school. We also make it a point to add it here. So you may not be able to see all the information everywhere because sometimes the B schools don't release that data, but whatever is available in public domain, we try and capture most of it. Now here you will also be able to see 3 important links. The first one is program website, placement report, and apply now. So this becomes very handy tool at the time of application. Now wherever you have to make individual applications, so when you are applying through CAT, for the IMs it's a singular form, the CAT form, wherein you enter all the IMs. So that is not really a concern. But for other institutions, you have to make applications directly to the institute. In that case, that apply now button will be very useful to you because you can click there and directly start your application process. You can also access the program website and placement report in case you want to find more information about these things. So it will also show you the eligibility. For example, you can see the common eligibility, the minimum graduation percentage, and so on and so forth. Under first call criteria, you will be able to see exactly what is the criteria of selection. So the first call and the final selection criteria. So as you can see, written test has 50% weight, 10, 12 graduation, 10, 12, and the personal interview, the respective weightages will be mentioned. So whatever is the data that is given by the B school in terms of the selection process, we enter it here. In case the data is not available, we mention that okay, this particular data point is not available. And then you will be able to see the different cutoffs. Now under cutoffs, the data can be in terms of percentile, it can be in terms of composite score, because it depends on what the selection process for that particular B school is. So you'll be able to find more of that information here. There is also a dedicated cutoffs page on which you will be able to find it. So rather than accessing the cutoff information from here, and though we have given it because sometimes it becomes very easy to use, there is also a separate cutoffs page through which you will be able to access this information. Okay. So it's a very handy tool through which you will be able to find the basic information about individual programs that exist. Now let's go back and I'm going to show you the search functionality. So here, for example, instead of CAT, now let me just clear it, so I can say clear all. Now let's say I want to find information about colleges. I don't know which all colleges accept the SNAP score. I can also search it. So I can say, for example, SNAP. So let me search, and it will show all the colleges where SNAP scores will get accepted. So it will show me, say, SIBM Pune, SCM HRD, MBA, BA, and so on. Wherever the program placement report is available separately, we'll list it as a separate thing. So SCM HRD, MBA, BA, there is a separate data point in terms of the placement is available, and that is why we list it as a separate program. But sometimes what happens is B schools club the core program with the other programs that they have and release a common placement report. In that case, we don't have two separate programs that are listed. It's only a singular name of the institute and the program that is listed. But wherever different placement reports are available, we ensure that we list those programs separately so that you can do better comparison. So this is a list of programs page wherein most of the students spend quite a bit of a time to understand about the respective B school, right? So I want to know the selection criteria, the first call, the final call, and so on and so forth. The second thing is list of full-time ex-MBA program, EX-MBA programs, or as we call it, executive MBA programs. Now, those of you who have work experience, you may be thinking of applying to programs wherein you have certain minimum eligibility in the form of work experience. Now, most of the programs that we saw on the earlier page, which is list of programs, there you don't have a minimum work ex eligibility, right? So if you have work experience, great. If you don't have work experience, it's still fine. But then there are programs that specify that you need to have minimum, say, 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5, and so on, years of experience to be eligible for the program. And these are typically 1 year in terms of the duration of the program. Some of them can be even 18 months. So these programs are listed here. So as you can see in the description, it features a list of full-time on-campus programs. So don't think that these are hybrid programs or programs that are weekend in nature. These are 1 year or 1.5 year full-time on-campus executive MBA programs. So you'll find a list of such programs, and the features are exactly the same, right? The way you saw there. But what you will also see is there is something called add to favorite button here, right? Which was not visible there. So what is this add to favorite? Now add to favorite is essentially a feature that we have created so that those of you who log in, because there is a sign in option as well, you will be able to use this particular feature, which is adding a particular B school to your favorite. Okay. So this will also be present on the list of programs, but just because I wanted to show list of programs separately and this page separately, I thought I will show it here. So what you can do is you can create an account. So you click on sign in, you just have to enter your email ID, and once you create your account, you will be able to add a particular B school to your favorite. So that applies to both list of programs as well as list of the executive programs that are there. So once you click on add to favorite, a particular B school gets added, and then you can closely keep a track of it, because that you will be able to see it under your dashboard, under your profile. Now here you will see the list of those 1 year programs, and again similar data points. So as you can see here, for the MBA PG PX at IIM Ahmedabad, what is the program duration, the location, intake, the data points, everything is mentioned. So you will be able to access the relevant data points. Okay. So very similar to list of programs in terms of what functionality it offers. Alright, that brings us to the next thing, which is programs by specialization. So again, this is something that we added very recently. So we keep improving the B school zone very regularly. We keep adding B schools, we keep adding information. So this is something that we added very recently, and this is where you can look at a particular specialization. Because see, most of the MBA or the B schools that are there, they offer programs where you have electives. So when you're doing, let's say, a PGDM or an MBA, you have electives that you can choose from. Now, depending on what electives you choose, you tell the outside world that, okay, this is what I've specialized in. But some of them also offer specific programs targeted at individuals who want to specialize in a particular domain. For example, business analytics or human resource, or it could be agribusiness management and so on. So what we have done is, wherever there are specific programs for a particular specialization, we have mentioned these programs here. So I can see, for example, business analytics. These are the specialized programs that are present. So I can always go to a regular MBA program and take up more analytics electives, that is possible. But if I want to specialize in it, it is always better that you go to a specific program. For example, under human resource. Now human resource as an elective will be offered pretty much everywhere. But if you want to specialize in that, let's say you want to do like a dedicated program, you are better off doing something like this, right? So you will see say an XLRI, an MDI or a TIS and so on. So you'll see the list here, the batch size. There are some key data points that you will need, for example, classification, the fees, the placement figures and so on. You'll be able to find that information here. So we have put international business as well, we have put pharma and healthcare. So a lot of things have just been added to the B school zone. Now, in case you come across something and you think that, okay, maybe we have missed a particular college, you can always reach out to us. So let us know and we will try and add that particular B school. Now let's move on to the next thing, which is application deadlines. Okay, now right now you may not see a lot of things here because for the next season, the season that is going to start from CAT 25, the registrations have not started for any of the exams. But once that begins, you will be able to see all of it here. So you will be able to see test application deadlines. So you will see things like the name of the test, what's the deadline, the date of the test, the application link, so you can actually begin your application process from here itself. The form filling guidelines, because for a lot of major tests, we create form filling guideline videos. Ideally, you should watch these videos before you start filling the form. Then the fees and the application status. Okay. Then B school. So of course the B school applications will also be starting, if you think of around August, September, that is the time when most of the B schools will start their application process. So you'll be able to see all of that here. So the name of the B school, the deadline, the application link, the fees and any remarks, right? So in some case, maybe there is some specific eligibility requirement, etc. All of that will be mentioned here. And as it is the case for the test, for all the B schools also you will have the application link. So you don't really have to search, because a lot of times students end up applying to wrong programs because they don't know the correct link. So that is why we put all the relevant links here. You can directly start your application process. Now let's move on to the next section. Now this section is cutoffs. As I said, we have a dedicated section for cutoffs wherein you will be able to find the information more conveniently. So if I go to the cutoff page, on this cutoff page, I'll be able to see all the programs and category wise cutoff. Now in some cases, this information is very clearly available. In some cases, it's indicative because the college has not revealed the exact cutoffs. So for most of the IIMs, the RTI data is available. Now what we do is we use this RTI information and populate it here. So you will be able to access for most of the B schools what the cutoffs have been. Now in some cases there are very specific data points that are given. For example, XLRI, PGD BM plus PGD HRM. Now the cutoffs are different depending on whether you are applying for the BM program or the HRM program, whether you are a male engineer or a female non-engineer and that kind of a thing. So depending on all of that, the cutoffs have been mentioned. So you will see a lot of detailed information here, right? If I want to, let's look at XLRI itself. So if I search for XLRI, these are the total 8 categories, right? So cutoffs are going to be different for each of them, where depending on the combination of whether it is BM or HRM, male or female, or engineer or non-engineer, right? So all of those data points are here, because it's not a very simple answer as, okay, tell me what is the ZAT cutoff, right? Because that's not how it works. But depending on who you are as a candidate, you will have different requirement, and that requirement has been covered here. So the next time you don't really have to ask a question to your mentor. You can directly come to the B school zone and you can have a look at this information. So if you're a ZAT aspirant or an XLR aspirant, you know now that, okay, if I am, let's say, a BM targeting candidate, I'm a male engineer, what is the figure that I should be targeting when it comes to my ZAT percentile? Okay, so this information just makes it easy for everybody, whether you're a student or whether you're a parent of a student, you'll be able to access this information easily. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, now this may not be relevant for CAT 25 students at this point of time. But once your results start coming in, these things become very important. We have a lot of students asking us as to what exactly was the waitlist movement the year prior to that, and so on. So wherever possible, at least for the last 3 years, what we have done is we have put the waitlist movement. So the way process works is you have the CAT result coming in, then you have your calls, then you have the final result, and then depending on whether you got a final admit or you have been waitlisted, of course there will be waitlist movement that happens because students have multiple converts as well. So wherever possible, we have given the waitlist movement, especially for all the top tier IIMs and some of the other private institutions, we have covered the waitlist movements. Okay, but for CAT 25 students, not too relevant at this point of time. Somewhere in the month of April or May 26, it will become more relevant to you. Now let's go to the next section, which is the compare page. Now what compare page allows you to do is, it just allows you to look at the key data points that we saw side by side. Okay, so if I want to do like a quick comparison between a particular institute or multiple institute, I will be able to do it. For example, now just the default view itself is showing you how the comparison looks. So if I want to compare say FMS and IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Bangalore, I'll be able to access all of those the key data points that we saw on one singular screen, right? So I'll be able to say, okay, fine. In terms of diversity, of course, IIM Bangalore has a 39% female. When it comes to non-engineers, however, it is the FMS which has 50% that are non-engineers. So compare is a very useful tool again, but see, when you are supposed to use it is after you got converts. So a lot of times students, before even they have taken the CAT, they start thinking whether should I be going to this B school or that B school, right? See, it's good to have aspiration and it's good to say that, okay, I'm targeting top 10, top 20, top 30 and so on. But within these institutes, ideally you should not get into the comparison game at this point of time. Okay, so it's too early to talk about comparison. But once you have your results, right? So for CAT 24 students who were with us, this is a very useful tool because you can do comparison between two B schools. But right now for CAT 25 or for CAT 26 aspirants, this is something that you can use at a later point of time. Rather, I will just look at the list of programs and think of the IMS categorization, because we have categorization which helps you to understand what are the top tier colleges. Now our categorization starts from A1, so it's like A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, and then B1 to B5, and then C1, C2, and then we have a few B schools that we have listed as emerging B schools because the placement information is not available for some of them. Alright, now let's come to the next part, which is selection advisory. Now again, for some of you not relevant at this point of time, but for those of you who have converts, right, maybe your converts from the new IIMs and you want to decide that should I go here or should I go there, this is something that will become again very useful to you because we have given detailed information. So within these IIMs also there are clusters, right? So depending on when the B school started, what is it that the B school has to offer in terms of placements, so all of that information is also easily available. So as you can see, cluster 1, what is cluster 1 is basically IIM Trichy, Udaipur, Ranchi almost at the same level, and they are better than Raipur, Rohtak, which we have again put at a similar level. And you will be able to see last 6 years placement data points. You will be able to see the CAGR of 3 years, 5 years, what are the top specializations under each of these B schools. So all of this information just helps you to make a decision in an informed manner, right? So use this to your advantage. Now let's talk about the next thing, which is MBA from IITs. Now as the application season will begin with CAT 25, a lot of you will have this question that am I eligible for the IITs, because IITs also have MBA programs through the schools of management. Now most of the IITs accept non-engineers, right? So it's a common myth that is there that you have to be an engineer to apply to an IIT. That is not the case. So over the last several years, earlier there used to be 1 or 2 IITs which used to accept non-engineers. Over a period of time that had changed. So with some specific conditions, pretty much all the IITs accept non-engineers. But there are conditions, and that is why all of that information has been mentioned here. In some cases, if you are already from an IIT, you might also get exemption in terms of your CAT score. So to find more information on that, you can just come here and you will see again category wise cutoff, IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, Jodhpur, Kanpur, Roorkee, etc. All of this information again readily accessible. Let's move to the next part, which is MBA CET cutoffs. Now some of you, and again more relevant for those of you who are targeting colleges through a test called the Maharashtra MBAC CET, or the colleges that are largely based in Maharashtra. This is again a very important data point because here you will be able to see all the cutoffs for the top colleges that fall under the purview of the Maharashtra MBAC CET or the CET cell. So here also you'll be able to see, so there's a concept of cap round. So there are multiple rounds that happen. It's a centralized admission process, and you will be able to see round-wise cutoffs in this particular option. Then comes, so we're almost towards the end. The last thing that I wanted to share in terms of the data point is the score versus percentile. Now here for exams, for at least some of the exams wherever this information can be produced, we have given that information. So if you look at CAT, for the last 4 years we have given at what score you would have got a certain percentile, right? So 80, 85, 90, 95, 98, 99 and 100 percentile. So these are scaled scores versus percentile. For SNAP also, for the last 4 years, we have given exactly what score corresponded to what percentile. So we will keep adding to this, so don't think this is the end of it. We will continue to add more information. We just need to gather more and more data. And if you are looking for a particular data point, definitely reach out to us and let us know that this is something that I want to see on the B School Zone, and we will see if that can be incorporated. The last two things that I want you to look at is the CAT at zero fee. Now, those of you who are targeting CAT 25 or 26 or any of the other exams, I would suggest that you have a look at the CAT at zero fee program. Now, what it does is it allows you to experience the IMS ecosystem before you sign up, before you enroll. So it's a program for which there's no cost. You can just sign up for it, and you also can book a free counseling with us. So if you have any doubts, it could be doubts related to B schools, your profile, it could be related to how do I prepare for a test, which test should I be taking, and so on. You can book a free counseling with us, right? So there are multiple things that you will see here. Schedule a free counseling, reach out to us, and we'll be very happy to help you. And that brings us to the last thing that you will see on the B School Zone, which is the frequently asked questions, because I'm sure you're going to have more questions as well. For example, how often is the data updated? Is IMS B School Zone free to use? And so on. You will find all of the answers to these commonly asked questions. So is there a way to contact the content team? Yes, definitely. So if you see there is something missing, if you see there is something bit off from the reality, do reach out to us, let us know. You could be a student or you could be a B school representative. You can always reach out to us, right? So let us know if there's anything that you want to see on the B School Zone but you don't see at this point of time. Some of you may also have question with respect to the categorization, right? So how does the categorization work? How exactly you have come up with it? Reach out to us, let us know if you have any questions, okay? So that's it. And one last thing, but of course I covered it briefly, is the sign in. Now, B School Zone is free to use, right? It's free to use for everybody. You don't have to pay a single rupee to access this information. But if let's say you want to access more features, the one feature that I showed you was the add to favorite. If you want to use that, you will definitely have to create an account. The other thing is, for certain set of B schools, we have something called call predictors, wherein once you put your information, it will show you what are your chances of getting a call from that particular B school. If you have higher chances, obviously you should apply to that B school, and that will help you increase your overall chance of selection. So to access these additional features, you will have to sign in, but otherwise it's free to use for everybody, okay? So that's it from my side. I hope this video has helped you and it has given you a complete tour of the B School Zone. As I said, we will keep adding more features. This is not the end of it. So do let us know if there's anything that you want to be seen. You can leave it as a comment on this video as well. Thank you so much for watching. Wish all of you all the best, and make sure that you access B School Zone as soon as possible. Bye everyone.